Streaming 24/7.
24/7.
Bold Moves Radio.
Bold Moves Radio.
Afrika nakupenda sana. Oh, Afrika nakupenda sana.
You are listening to Bold Moves Radio. The show is Prudent Woman with myself. I am Rhulani Baloyi. I am your host. We come to you every day, every Sunday, 4 o'clock up until 5 o'clock. Once more, we are with you the 3rd of March, the year 2024. The year has gone so fast, and we'd like to welcome all of you, those of you listening to us via Bold Moves Radio. You know you can be part of the conversation by joining us and sending through your WhatsApp, your comments, your questions to 081 358 8745. And if you are watching us on YouTube, you are welcome to be part of this conversation by sending through your comments and your questions on the comments section. We would like you to be part of this conversation because as Prudent Woman, we say we spark conversation. It's our desire to empower each other as we have this conversation with all information pertaining to life so that as women, we can take intentional decisions that have got impactful an impact on our loved ones, which are based on knowledge that we've acquired. And once more, as I say, I don't come alone. I have with me a wonderful young woman. She's an award-winning audiology clinician. She's a lecturer. She's a healthcare entrepreneur. She is everything that you can think about. And when we continue with this conversation, I am sure you're going to love this wonderful woman. And you will see that indeed South Africa's future is bright because we have such assets in our nation. And today's purpose for this show, being the 3rd of March, we are here talking to this audiologist, talking about a subject that is very, very important. But we tend to have an oversight around it, most especially because the organ that assists us with this it's very small, an ear. Sometime last year in the year 2023, we talked about eyes, and you'll agree with me, all prudent women, that we tend to, have oversight on the importance of an eye until you lose your eyesight. Today, we're going to talk about an ear, its importance. How many of us, myself included, do we care how to look after this wonderful organ until such a time we lose our hearing? And globally today, we are commemorating hearing awareness because I would like to believe it's a very important subject, but because we come from a culture where when you don't see the purpose of something, you tend to have oversight. And this wonderful woman is going to talk to us about this important organ, the ears, and she's going to talk to us about the importance of hearing as an audiologist. Welcome, says Vera. We are excited to have you joining us on Prudent Woman, and we'd like to say thank you for taking your time to come and educate us. Even as I understand, to you, it's very important to empower the community. I would like to say thank you very much. As you greet the audience, please just tell us. I know, just like myself, before I started preparing for this show, I didn't really much understand what an audiologist is. It was something that is so big, I could not even contain it. So if you can greet the audience and tell us what an audiologist does.
Afternoon, everybody who's listening and everybody who's watching on the various platforms. My name is Vera Genevey. I'm an audiologist by training and qualification. By profession, I'd like to think actually that I'm an educator, because the nature of what I do always ends up being me educating others about what I do. I am from Asizwe Hearing Solutions, a by Africans for and with Africans guided company with an aim to galvanize the opportunities that technology gives us to make hearing healthcare much more visible, much more accessible, and much more affordable for our communities in our Southern African region. So, Sister Rhulani, you asked, what is an audiologist? The long and short of it is the human body has different experts and different scientists and different people that work with it. The most common known expert or scientist or profession that's known to work with the human body is the general practitioner or a doctor. A general practitioner is an entry point into the healthcare system in that they have many other colleagues that they work with. The second most common known profession is the nursing profession that often comes as an assistant to the doctor. And then for every single part of your body, no matter how small, from the skin to the hair follicles on your head, to your toes, to your bones, and as we're talking about today, your ear, your hearing and balance organs, we have a profession and a particular specialist assigned to it. And so that is what audiology and hearing care is about. We look at everything to do with your ear, your hearing and balance. And I'm sure we will expand more to talk about what such a small organ can do for your day-to-day quality of life. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. You have expanded it to us. You've brought in another angle, say, and ear, it's also for balance. So it's not only for hearing. I would like to invite all of you, as you are listening to us, be part of this conversation. Let us be empowered so that we can take intentional decisions and impact our loved ones, and also to improve the quality of life for our loved ones. Says Vera, today, the 3rd of March, we know that globally we are commemorating hearing awareness. What will be the significance from someone within this space? What is the significance of commemorating this day?
Yeah. Yeah, so I think you hit on the nail on the head, Sister Rhulani, in the beginning when you outlined that, hearing or the ear just happens to be one of the things that is not in the forefront or in the foresight of many people. And often in the profession, we say hearing is an unseen sense and an unseen function that often just, is assumed to be well and good and functioning from when you are born all throughout the lifespan. But that is not so. The same way that your body can ache, the way your body can get an infection, the way your body can have several conditions, so too with the ear. And so what World Hearing Day is about is precisely to inform the globe and everybody who has ears and eyes to know that you need to pay attention to your hearing. If you think about it, what separates us human beings and society from mammals, from plants, and everything under God's creation is the fact that we are able to communicate and converse in a spoken language or even in a visual language that allows us to share ideas, share intellect, and impact others out there. How we engage, how we relate is based on us speaking and hearing each other. And so World Hearing Day is about driving that concept to say, yes, the ear is an anatomical part of the body, but it serves so much function, and to bring more awareness on that. Now, in 2024, the World Health Organization has decided that the theme that we should speak about and expand on is changing mindsets and increasing access and knowledge on hearing healthcare for everybody in the globe. And so Bold Moves, as well as Prudent Women, is on the mark with the World Health Organization with wanting to inform your audience and your listeners on hearing care and hearing awareness.
Wow, thank you so much. This says to us the World Health Organization has seen the need, as
Yeah.
much as you are saying, Bold Moves Radio has seen the need
Yeah.
to empower people on understanding this
Yes.
important topic, hearing, and
Yes.
also the use of this organ. And
Yes.
I'm so looking forward and hope that our audience shall engage with us. But
Yeah.
let us you mentioned two things that an ear does, which
Yes.
is hearing and balance. And
Yes.
for the purpose of today, I want us to focus on the hearing part as
Yes.
much as you've brought in the balancing part.
Yes.
When you look at an ear in terms of an organ that brings in a hearing,
Yes.
how will you advise me as a layperson who is not a medical practitioner on how to take care of my ear?
Yeah. So I think first things first, you have to be aware that function and well movement and well actioning of things with your body, with your mind, with your mouth, and everything is not assumed, it's not automatic. It happens because every single aspect works together to bring about a function. For
Mm,
example, our listeners on your show are engaging with us because we assume their hearing works and they're able to hear us. But it also assumes that your brain and your knowledge of the English language and your ability to follow conversation, your memory, your recall. So, all of those things imply awareness. And why am I highlighting this? In as much as we take our cars annually for service, we clean our houses and spring clean them annually. We need to be aware, as responsible and conscious, aware society members, that our bodies form part of the things that we must take care of. And when you love something and you take care of something, you have to check, is it functioning well? So, the first step that I always say is be aware that you can't assume that everything is functioning well. Check everything at least once a year. It's not terribly inconvenient to check at least once a year, because once you know that something is functioning well, then you can start skipping. But unfortunately, with the ear and with hearing, people just assume it's there and then they never check it until something is wrong. So, first of all, check your hearing and know that it is working. The same way you check your vision before you drive a car. If you're
mm,
going to communicate and use listening and hearing and language, check your hearing to know that it is there. So that's always the first step. And once you start, the rest of the information comes your way and the rest of what you need to do comes your way. The second, I'll share three things. The second thing is, the most common things that we get as audiologists is that people say, but I need to clean my ears, or I use earbuds, or my ears are
mm,
itchy. That is the secondary aspect, where after you check your ears and you know they are functioning well, then you will know, is the itch a skin thing? Because our body is covered with skin, and what we are scratching is the skin.
mm,
Now, usually the skin inside the ear, because it is enclosed, it doesn't get water, it doesn't get sun, it doesn't get lotion. So it's quite common for it to be itchy. However, putting any object inside your ear is not safe. And so that could be the second tip I give everybody listening. Don't put anything in your ears. If they are itching and you feel like it's of medical concern, consult and we tell you whether it's a skin thing, a natural thing, or it's actually your sinuses. Because some people are feeling the itch from inside their throat and sinuses, and they often do a common action that sounds like this.
mm.
That's not an ear thing, it's a nasal and a sinus thing. But because we are not aware and we perhaps don't engage some of the smaller things in the human body, we assume. And then, thirdly, I would say, if you need to take wax or any kind of foreign bodies, or you have pain or an ache, don't wait until you're bleeding, don't wait until it's severe. You have your body in this life to live a fulfilled and abundant life. And in order to do that, you need to make sure that all is working well. So take care of it first, and the rest will take care of you. So check your ears, get them professionally cleaned, get them professionally checked out, so that we don't leave room for assumptions.
Wow, you mentioned one aspect, checking your ears that you can hear well.
Yes.
And I want to bring in a practical part. And I see one of our listeners asking, how should you do that, practically? What
Yeah.
will you say I can do to practically be sure that I can hear?
Yeah. So there are a lot of resources at our disposal. So these days, with the technology of smartphones, the World Health Organization has created an application that I can share, that you can share on your links with your listeners so they can download it and check if they have access to a smartphone. With these basic smartphone checks, essentially, you would put headsets in and it would present basic sounds to you and you check if you're able to hear them. And if you're unable to pass that small screening in your own home or at work or wherever you're listening to this from, then you know you need to consult a professional for actual further testing. So that could be the first line of how can I self test? How can I self check? You can use an app. Or another practical and easier way is ask yourself, do you often ask people for repetition? Do you often speak louder than other people? Do you often feel like people around you mumble? Do you often listen to music so loud that when you're listening it on headphones, the person next to you can hear what you're listening to? Some signs and symptoms are there, but because we don't always associate them to there being an ear or a hearing condition, we don't have it checked out. So I would say if you have any of those mentioned symptoms, or a loved one has any of those symptoms where you're finding you're having to repeat often to them, speak louder to them, or they don't hear you well on the phone, have them checked out because those could be signs and symptoms of a hearing loss. Third and last, in our country, our healthcare system gives us two options. You can access healthcare in private or in public. And I know that not everybody has access to private healthcare. Most public health sectors actually have audiologists that are working, it's just that people are not often aware. You can check at your local clinic or your nearest hospital, district, regional, provincial, and ask, I want to have my hearing checked. Where can I go? And they should be able to direct you. If not within the hospital, they should be able to refer you to the closest hospital in your community where you can have your hearing check. And if you have the privilege of having access to private healthcare, you can always look online and say audiologist near me. And most audiologists will pop up on your search platform and you're able to make an appointment to get your ears checked.
Says Vera, can you share with us the app that you were talking about on our smartphones? We'll be able to share even
I
as
think
our
so. I
viewers.
think so. I am quickly going to take out my phone. Those that are watching visually will see I'm checking on my phone to make sure I share the correct one. There are many apps, so I just want to make sure I share the most accessible one. All right. So, the World Health Organization app that you can download on your phone, whether it's Android or iOS operated, is called Hear Who. Hear Who spelled HEARWHO. So it's Here by World Health Organization. Here
Mm.
Who. HEARWHO. If you search on your Play Store or your App Store, you should be able to find that, or you can simply look it up on your Google or any other search platform on your phone. And that will enable you to check, or at least screen, let me use the word screen, your hearing in the comfort of your home.
Thank you very much. So the app is Here Who. It's such a simple name for an app.
Yes,
No one
it
can
is.
forget that because it's about
Yeah,
hearing and
yeah,
you want to hear other people speaking to you. So
yeah,
let us go out and make use of the information and the resources that we have to improve the quality of our lives. Because I would like
yeah,
to believe when once you have done that test and you realize that maybe there may be a challenge, then
yeah,
you are able to go and seek help. And
yeah,
we believe in Prudent Woman, says Vera, that when you are informed, it
yeah,
helps you to make decisions and
yeah,
improve your quality of life.
yeah,
Ignoring situations will not improve your quality of life, but taking care of what is presented to you and making decisions and taking action is what will change your situation. Thank you very much. You mentioned something about cleaning your ears. And
yes,
if I heard you correctly, you are in a way saying it's not good to be using earbuds And
No.
because I know most of us, myself included, we tend to use them over and over again. And it's something that you even are so proud to go around with your handbag with this. I just need you to just highlight to us the why should you say it's not good to use an earbud?
Yeah. So earbuds are a commercial retail product that they were just marketed to us. And in fact, they were not necessarily marketed as earbuds. They were actually called Q-tips or cotton buds. And the bud was created in a simple stick format that you can use it to apply either to, to wipe something or to clean something. But for some reason, it ended up being an ear thing that was applied to the ear. So the reason we say you are not advised to use it is because the risk to puncture or make a hole in your eardrum is very high. Because people don't just use earbuds to clean their ears. If you think about it, most people are using it for the sensation and the how it feels to have something in your ear. You'll remember earlier I alluded to the fact that nothing goes in your ear. So there isn't any stimulation, there isn't any water, there isn't any lotion. So could there be an itch? Yes. We can circumvent that by recommending water-based eardrops that can help lubricate your skin area. That way you don't feel the itch. So
Mm,
often people use eardrops or other sharp objects like pens, keys, toothpicks, matchsticks, just to scratch. It's not necessarily to clean. Because also, if you think about it, the
mm,
ear is not something that can get dirty inside because technically nothing gets inside unless you're a child or you have children that get sand or other foreign objects in their ear, which you should have professionally removed for their safety. So be careful and be honest with yourself. Am I using this to clean? Am I using this as a habit because it was marketed to me? Or am I using this because it feels nice and it's stimulating the ear in a way that feels nice to me?
wow. Yeah, that gives one an assignment to go and reflect. I
Yes.
can immediately say to you, I'm doing it because it was marketed to me and it has become a habit.
And I can tell you that, especially with women, we are sold the narrative of cleaning and cleaning products and cleaning accessories because we think it's next to godliness. And that's the message, right? But be very careful. And sometimes, maybe even outside of ear products, ask yourself, why do I buy the things that I buy? Am I making an informed decision or am I doing it because someone told me I should?
Yeah, that's very important. And throughout, as Prudent Woman, as we keep on having professionals, health professionals coming through, we are realizing that most of the products that we are buying are not meant for our health, but they are meant for profits for the companies or whoever has invented such a product. And it's so sad, but it also presents to us an important decision to make to say, when you go out on the shelves, whatever that you see, you must ask yourself, what is the purpose and what is the reason for me to be using this product, not just because it is marketed. And nowadays, marketing is so simple. When you open the very smartphone that you said we can use to be able to check our hearing, when you open it, you get bombarded with a whole lot of products that are being marketed to you. And we appreciate professionals like yourselves who come forth and speak to us because you are here not for profit, but you are here to educate us. And that's very important for us. You mentioned something about when you test your hearing or then you are not able to hear much, or checking when I have people around me, I'm not able to hear them correctly. But we have grown to understand that certain people have got their hearing is very low.
Yeah.
When should I be concerned? Maybe around my loved ones, when I see that they can't hear, at what level
Yeah.
should I be concerned, and what is it that one can do to try to address such a concern?
Yeah. So the first thing maybe I would like to address as well as a general topic before I relate it to hearing. As soon as you notice something, you should be concerned. So the
Mm,
way the body works is it will send you small signals. Think about exhaustion and tiredness. You will know you're tired from when you wake up if you didn't sleep well. But you will
mm,
circumvent it and ignore it, and you'll drink a cup of coffee and think, oh, I'll just walk outside. It will keep sending you signals up to a point where you are getting back pain, headaches. So, in essence, we always have the small signs and signals first. And I
mm,
think even our intuition, and those of us that are spiritual and are Christian, we know the Holy Spirit will nudge you. You will know something is off, but you want to wait for someone else to say, you're still okay. Maybe wait until it's to say. So I want to address as soon as you get a signal, attend to it. And why
mm,
is this important for healthcare? Because early identification ensures early intervention. Early intervention can allow us to prevent worsening. So when you wait, and I'm not even going to give you a level to say only at this level or when they can't hear
mm,
this. No, your ears are supposed to work. They were created to hear. If you're not hearing something, check it out. Don't wait until you're not hearing 10 more things or you're not hearing louder things. Check it
mm,
out because, again, it's another scarcity mindset that we have adopted, unfortunately, in our continent and as Africans, where unless you're bleeding or unless you can't physically get up, you push on. And I think as women as well, we want to take care of other people and everything aside from taking care of ourselves and everything in our bodies, our hearts, minds, and spirits. And so let's adopt, maybe this links to changing mindsets. Let's
mm,
adopt the mindset that when you get an early warning sign, whether you can't hear your phone nicely and you find yourself increasing the volume on your phone, check. Is it the speaker on your phone? Can other people hear it? Or is it your ear? Don't wait until you're sitting in a presentation or you're listening to Prudent Woman and you can't hear nicely or something worse happens. The wait and see approach doesn't always work. And in fact, it was brought about so that people don't panic and people don't worry. And I'm not trying to incite panic, but I'm
mm,
saying you don't know what you don't know. And that
mm,
is a very dangerous position to be in.
mm.
You are able to do better when you know better. And the only way to know better is to take as early a signal from your body. If you feel like something is off, get it checked out so you can eliminate if it's a serious problem or not.
Mm, mm. Thank you very much. If you have just joined us, this is Bold Moves Radio. The show is Prudent Woman with myself. I'm Rhulani Baloyi. We have with us this afternoon Vera. She's a audiologist. She's talking to us about hearing as we commemorate Hearing Awareness on this date, the 3rd of March. Thank you so much, says Vera. And I see one of our listeners asking, what happens when you time and again have this ringing noise coming through your ears?
The ringing noise in the ears is what we call in our profession tinnitus. Tinnitus is another sign or a symptom that can be used as a sign from the body to say something is going on in your ear that shouldn't be, have it checked out. Ringing in the ears often comes with other conditions like blood pressure, hypertension, diabetes, or again, your ear is reacting to everything else that's happening to your body and is trying to give you a warning sign to pay attention to your ears. Tinnitus can also be something people experience after being in a very loud environment. If you go to a big party or you are somewhere where there's a lot of loud noise, or you go to the soccer stadium, a lot of people will know sometimes you hear that wee in your ears. That's an early warning sign that your body is telling you you were in loud noise for a long time. And sometimes when it comes about because of that, it goes away. But when there's a condition and there's a problem that's also affecting your ears, that ringing doesn't go away and it stays there and you perceive it. Sometimes that ringing can be because of other issues happening in our bodies. Either it could be a migraine, a headache, or something that's affecting the upper region of the body, as well as the blood circulation passing through our ears. So, any kind of ringing or sounds that you hear in your ears, you will know what I'm going to say. Go and get it checked.
And you know what you have just said says something to me, gives a clue on something to me. We tend to have, if someone has been sick, you mentioned high blood,
Yes,
we tend to start saying they will be like touching their ears and saying they're hearing some ringing, and
yes,
we now translate it and say they're starting to lose their minds.
yes.
So probably that is the explanation.
That is the explanation. And I think the other thing we should be aware of, and perhaps even more aptly, as a prudent woman, be slow to speak and rather be quick to be
Wow.
curious and understand before you label something. Because I
Mm,
think in the generation that we're in, labeling something as, oh, they're losing their mind, couldn't be further from the truth. In fact, your
mm,
body is functioning so well that it is using everything in its capacity to show you that something is wrong in the body. A particular condition like blood pressure and hypertension is very tricky because it affects the blood. And we know the blood is like the life of the body. And so
mm,
any condition that affects the blood can affect any and every organ in the body. And so with the ears, sometimes the ringing in the ears can be affected. That's why sometimes with diabetes patients, because the sugar in their blood is affected and the nutrition for organs is affected from the blood sugar, you can also get ringing in your ears. So if you are feeling or hearing something, it's often a sign to go get it checked. And not a sign for us as society or as other prudent women to label other people as they're losing their mind. In fact, it is our cue as friends and as loved ones to say, can I find an audiologist for you? Can I help you find someone to help you with that
mm.
symptom?
Wow. You know, it's true when they say knowledge is power, and it can impact how you associate with other people.
Yeah.
And what I'm hearing, it says, as a child of God, I'm meant to be able to display the fruit of the Spirit. And when
Mhm.
you are not informed, it becomes a challenge with what you have just said, to say you must be able to listen and observe before you speak. And it's only when you have information like what you have just dished to us that you'll be able indeed to respond like a godly woman who will not only respond and hurt the feelings of the next person, but will respond and become a solution. Because as a child of God, I'm the salt of the earth, and
Mhm.
I should bring light. And how can you, when you yourself are not informed or
Mhm.
knowing, you don't have to label someone and say they're losing their minds, but you are able to understand that maybe they are having other challenges in
Yeah,
their body and they seek help. Thank you
yeah,
very much, says Vera. And prudent women, I trust that you are also learning as much as I'm learning. We are
yeah,
getting empowered, and we indeed shall be the salt of the earth, and wherever we'll go, we'll bring light because we are informed. And we thank all these professionals that come through to this session. And this leads me to the next question. You know, one, to show that as society we have not been responding well, you tend to have those people whom you guys will have said to them, your hearing is very low. We need to improve it. You need a hearing aid. But I know most people, and even myself, if I was in that position
yeah,
before I heard you speaking, I would
yeah,
have rejected it, because I always thought when you have a hearing aid, it means you can't hear.
yeah,
And it has always been like that. And how many people, because of such a narrative, we have denied them the opportunity of improving their hearing, and
yeah,
we made them not to make use of these gadgets, which are there through medical science, which will enhance their quality of life. Just
yeah,
take us through what hearing aids are all about and
yeah.
how they help one.
Yeah. So with hearing aids society, most of us, we struggle from wanting to make sure something looks a particular way
Mm,
before we pay attention to how is this helping me.
mm,
Unfortunately, most people in society, and part of changing mindset for World Hearing Day is to say that hearing aids can be visible to some people depending on which one you're able to afford. If you're not able to afford the smaller, more discreet ones, because those ones are also available. But you must understand that with hearing aids, we're no longer talking about how there is a solution to your medical problem. We're now talking about how you think you look or how you want to look. So there's a vanity issue where we are caring about our aesthetics. more than our quality of life. So I think that's the first thing I wanted to address. But hearing aids in and of themselves are actually what we use to help your ears to hear better. How they look, how they feel is something that we can help you. Unfortunately, that comes with resources, and if you are privileged to afford it. But the purpose and the core function of hearing aids is to help you. And the narrative that people reject hearing aids because they look a certain way is almost saying your leg is broken or is fractured, but you don't like to walk in a cane, or you don't like how the moon boot looks, so you're not going to wear it. So instead, you're not going to move because people are going to see that you have a cane and your leg is broken. And I think that's not just a thing that affects audiology. A lot of us in society, a lot of the societal ills right now, even on social media or online, are because we want to look and project a certain thing that in reality we are not. So if you are having prescribed hearing aids and you are not using them, I would pose this as a challenge to reflect. Do you care more about your quality of life or about how the next person is going to look at you? Because, like you said, Sister Rhulani, hearing aids look like you can't hear. But the truth is, you can't hear. And people think if they take the hearing aids away, no one is going to notice that they can't hear. But I want to put to us that when you can't hear in a conversation, you most often misinterpret what people say. You are saying inappropriate things. You are asking everyone for repetition. And people already know you can't hear because they are communicating with you. So what you think you are trying to hide is already apparent anyway. So I think let's address caring more about how things look than first caring about how can this help me. And if indeed you want to care about how can I make it look better, then you invest in the financial resources required for you to make it look better. Because I don't think it's completely wrong to care about it. I think it's completely wrong to put the looks above the function.
That's very true. Thank you so much for talking to us this afternoon. Time is not on our side. As we say on Prudent Woman, we spark conversations. And I trust that the prudent women who were part of this show and all those who will be watching this show even afterwards, you will take your time to invest on understanding this important subject, hearing, and how you can make sure that you take care of it. Even during this month of March, I'm sure we will have a lot of activities going on because today, the 3rd of March, globally, we are commemorating hearing awareness. Thank you very much, says Vera. The last thing that I do not want us to end before we address, because we know with health conditions, time and again, we hear that some of them are something that you inherit within your bloodline. Can one inherit the issue of hearing from their bloodline?
Yes. So the thing of hereditary medical conditions or health conditions is that in our genes, we carry a certain what we call predisposition. So
Mm,
the same way if you are born in Guyana versus Soweto versus Umhlanga, in
mm,
all those three places, yes, by hereditary nature and history, but also by location, you are most likely going to know certain languages. It
mm,
doesn't mean that you won't know other languages, but it means what you're most likely. So it's a probability that you have a higher probability of speaking Xitsonga or Sesotho if you
mm,
are in Limpopo than if you are in KZN. Does
mm,
that mean you're not going to be able to access other languages? No. So too with hearing. If in your bloodline and in your genetic markup from your mother, your grandmother, your family, someone has a hearing loss, it simply means you have a higher probability of acquiring hearing loss. Now, with something like that, I would encourage you just do an annual screening of everything in your body. That way you catch it fast because we don't even know what is in our genetic bloodline, because genetic screening is another thing that unfortunately we are excluded because it's so expensive and doesn't always come up as a general tester. So yes, it can come up, but also just because you are most likely doesn't mean that you will. It can then be exacerbated by lifestyle and other health conditions. So it's a tricky yes and a no. And that's
Mm,
why I explained it with language, is to say you just have a higher probability. It does
yes.
not mean it's a definite. It does
Mm,
not mean that it's definitely not. It just means you have a higher probability than the next person.
mm, mm. That takes us back to our understanding as prudent women that you ought to know your medical history. That's
Yes.
very, very important. And I
Yes.
see this one is, it's a young person wanting to know whether earphones are good or
Okay.
they detrimental towards your hearing.
Yeah. So I don't think earphones are bad. I think earphones have become part of our lives as a convenience to listen to something and to have to listen to something privately. The
Mm,
only risk that they can impose is if you listen to things on your earphones very loudly. Now,
mm,
with higher technology smartphones and better quality earphones, they will tell you nowadays laws require smartphone technology makers and earphone makers. They will tell you, you are going to play this loud. Do you want to play it? And you are
mm,
the person that makes the decision to increase the volume. So playing something very loud, there's no problem with doing that. But give your ears quiet breaks. The same way you wouldn't be jumping up and down 10 times a day all day. Your muscles, your bones, your breathing rate needs to rest so that you don't injure yourself. The ear works the same way. You can listen to as much loud music as you want, but you need to give yourself quiet rest. So it's the loudness that becomes a risk, not the headphones. But maybe while I'm speaking to the prudent women, if you're going to buy your children headphones,
mm,
don't buy the thing that is cheap and easily available for 20 Rand, because it is cheap to buy, but it will
mm,
be expensive to fix the consequences because it won't warn your kids. It won't come with the protection measures. So some things are more expensive because they give better quality, and we avoid it because what we're looking at is, oh, I'll just buy it quickly. But invest in good listening resources so that it can also protect you, and also for the kids to protect them, because they need protection.
I am laughing because of the example you gave to say you don't jump the whole day,
No.
and I would like to believe our children, some
Yeah.
of them will be listening,
Yeah.
and as prudent women will be able to advise our children using the example that you have used, because our children's earphones are on their ears the whole day and the whole night.
All day, all day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
And
you
I
you
think it's also, sorry to jump in, it's also an opportunity to remind ourselves there's a reason why you are the parent and they are the child. And for some reason in society today, we've
mm,
created these weird barriers where a parent is not able to correctly and responsibly reprimand their child from a risky behavior and take away the temptation to continue in risky behavior. And we would rather just look at them do it. And so I would say, my advice, don't be scared to create a barrier. Will it
mm,
be momentarily uncomfortable? Yes. But when we choose immediate comfort, what we are also choosing is the consequences that come without having barriers and protection for our children. Is it uncomfortable to say no to your kids? Yes. Is it uncomfortable to say no, that's enough to your kids? Yes. But it also means you have to be accountable. You can't say today only and then tomorrow you slip.
mm,
It
mm.
creates a system where, as parents, we have to be reminded our role is to guide them in a way that if we show them now, they will do in the future. And I think that's also a biblical concept. So some of it is the earphones, some of it is the parenting measures.
Mm. No, thank you so much, says Vera. Time is not on our side. We have come to the end of our show.
Yeah,
We appreciate your time that you took to be with us. As
right.
you do your parting shot, I invite you, please say anything that you feel we never got time to talk about, or I never got an opportunity to ask, but you believe it's very important, even as
Yeah.
we commemorate hearing awareness.
Yeah, so thank you so much for having me, Sis Rhulani, on your show. I think one aspect that is happening in society now that I can't ignore and not say in all the platforms I'm sharing on World Hearing Day, like today, is the increasing rate of unemployment in healthcare professionals, and audiologists included. What we see mostly is the doctors, but it affects all healthcare professionals. And I want to say, perhaps as part of changing mindsets to our young people that are maybe looking to study in the medical profession or study audiology, or you just finished studying and you are sitting at home and you are unemployed. We at Asizwe Hearing Solutions believe in empowering and enabling access to social entrepreneurship to be the solution in your community. Because here's the reality. If you're a doctor, if you're an audiologist, if you're any other healthcare professional, you're a scarce skill set. And yes, our government is struggling. But if you sit and you wait for things to be great and for government to one day offer you a job, in that waiting time, you are denying society of the gifts and the skill sets that you have spent most of your life working towards and a lot of money attaining. And so we like to offer an opportunity for healthcare professionals to consider and have access to low-cost mobile medical equipment that will enable young people like myself to go out in the community and say, I will consider healthcare entrepreneurship. I will employ myself and I will go out there in the community and I will provide hearing care services. And hopefully, in turn, I will provide them in an affordable rate for the people in the communities so that everybody else can go get their ears tested. So I thought to just address that because unemployment is on the rise in our socioeconomic status as a country. And while we wait for the bigger governments and organizations to fix it, we have to be part of the solution. And so for me, as Vera from Asizwe Hearing Solutions, that's our part that we want to play and change the mindset of young people to say, it's not all of us that are meant to be employed. Some of us are meant and are called for social healthcare entrepreneurship that can bring tangible impact to our communities.
Wow. You'll all agree with me. When we started, I said, this woman, you will hear as we continue with the session to understand that the future of South Africa is bright. You see, with Asizwe, they are bringing in solutions. And I always believe that as a person, you need to go out and look for the challenges and make use of the skills and the experience you have to bring solutions for such challenges, and money becomes a byproduct. Wouldn't you agree with me that South Africa has got a bright future with young people like this? Thank you so much, says Vera. We are so excited about your new venture, Asizwe, and I trust that most young people within the healthcare space will take advantage of it. To become entrepreneurs. And of course, you cannot say you'll wait for government because the problems that government has, it's all our problems, and solutions that we are bringing become solutions for government because government is technically saying they do not have money, and they will not have money if we are not participating in the economic space because government gets money when there's economic activity. Thank you very much. This was a wonderful show because we were talking on hearing. And I would like to say to all of you who have been listening, yes, we did not exhaust everything that we ought to talk about when it comes to hearing, but Prudent Woman sparks conversations. Go out and research more and make sure that the quality of life for your loved ones and yourself it's improved even on this space of hearing. Thank you very much. This was Prudent Woman. We come to you every Sunday, 4 o'clock up until 5 o'clock. And I would like to say thank you to our technical team, DJ Macy in the house, and our executive producer, Pastor Strike. Would like to say thank you. And thank you to all of you who were part of this conversation. Of course, this conversation will not be a conversation if we do not have people like yourselves who are part of the conversation and sending through your comments and your questions. And I would like to say, Bold Moves Radio, do not forget, at 5:30, we've got the Living Word with Pastor Fridama Tebula, our favorite pastor. And on a Tuesday, we've got the African Experience. Please do not be left behind. If you have not yet subscribed to our YouTube channel, please click on that button and subscribe so that you do not miss out on any of the shows that we bring forth to you. Thank you very much. Have a blessed and a wonderful week ahead. We shall see you next Sunday.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is.
Streaming 24/7. 24/7.
Bold Moves Radio.
Bold Moves Radio.
Afrika nakupenda sana, oh Afrika nakupenda sana.